Hello, good morning. This is day one of the Read What You Own challenge. This morning I woke up at 4 a.m. because of the time change here. I did not adjust my internal clock yet. So at 4 a.m. I was reading a comic Freddy vs. Ash vs. Jason Nightmare Warriors. I think that's what it's called. It's the sequel to the first 6-issue run of Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. Did not care for the second one at all. Maybe I will elaborate on that later. But it's been about 2 days since my last hit at a bookstore. So we're going to see how this goes throughout the week. But so far I'm feeling pretty good about it. I still have some library stuff I need to finish before I start, reading what I actually own. This morning, I'm going to listen to an audiobook on the way to work. It takes about 45 minutes for me to get to work. So that gives me some good audiobook time. I listen at 1.5 speed. That's what feels comfortable to me. If I listen to audiobooks at their regular speed, it just makes me angry now. So I'm listening to Apocalypse of the Dead by, I think, Joe McKinney. So far, I'm enjoying it. It's nothing amazing, but it's passing the time. It's sort of residual Halloween stuff. So I will talk to you later. Have a good morning, guys. Something cool I keep in my office, that is the Peter Pan book and record set with Star Trek Comics. This is one of the later ones, so it is a book and cassette set, but on one side you have Dinosaur Planet, on the other side you have the Robot Masters. These comics are infamous for having the African American Sulu and the Caucasian Uhura, which they corrected in later issues, but the voice acting is actually surprisingly really good. So these were fun things. I have them in shrink wrap. I found 2 sets this way, gave one away to a friend, but this is quite fun. So I keep it around as a decoration at the moment. It just feels wrong to open it up. But I have read the comics, and they are quite fun. Hello, this is day 2 of the Read What You Own challenge. I'm just doing a quick vlog as I wait for the polls to open. It is election day in Ohio here this morning. I once again woke up at 4 in the morning. I have headphones on, so I'm not disturbing anyone. But this morning, while I woke up unintentionally at 4 a.m., I did read Conan Comic. That's Conan issue 3, The Grim Grey God. This is a story that was an adaptation of a Khan the Thrall short story written by Robert E. Howard, and they sort of changed a few things to make it appropriate for Conan. It's a story where he meets an Odin-like figure. In the original story, I believe it was Odin, and he gets involved in a battle between 2 kingdoms where there's treachery and whatnot. It was a pretty good story, but it was weird to see Valkyries and Odin being sort of transformed into essentially the same thing, just with a different name. I don't know if that was because they're trying to avoid tying it in with Thor, like Conan's in the same universe. I know they did some crossovers later on, but I don't think anyone really would have been confused. But it was much better than the book I read yesterday, Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, Dream Warriors. But I did notice something in the letters page that caught my interest, and this is in relation to the first issue, I believe. It says, Barry and Roy captured the essence of Conan better than the decamp and Carter in their finish to the series, Conan of the Isles. I think the limitations of the caption space which Roy had were well overcome by the savagery of the art. That is by William J. Rogers in San Angelo, Texas. Am I the only one who enjoyed Conan of the Isles? I'm just being haunted by it everywhere. So, anyway, today I'm going to do a little bit of roofing as well. I need to trim up some things that I didn't have time for this past Saturday. So, going to walk to the polls once they open, hopefully before work. Fortunately, I'm working from home today. So, I will probably listen to an audiobook until then. Still working through Apocalypse of the Dead, which I'm about halfway through, and it's nothing special, but it's a classic zombie story, so it's fun enough for me. I have no regrets, but I still haven't started reading anything that I actually own. So that's how the challenge began for me last year too. I didn't pick the date. There was kind of a set date that everyone was doing, so I just went with it. And now I'm like, oh, I need to finish all this library stuff. So I'm listening to that on the Hoopla app, which I had issues with previously until I switched my phone. I guess when you listen at 1.5 speed on a subpar phone, it'll just dip in and out with the audio. Now there's absolutely no problems, and the Hoopla app has different books through my library than what is on Libby, so I was able to find some things that aren't normally available to me, which I love. So kind of want to check out Scribd for the same reason, but that costs some money and this doesn't. So right now I'm just enjoying what I have, but I'll go do my civic duty and then I'll have to start my work day. Thanks.
Ooh, someone's trying to send a message. This is my election plank. Ignore the shingles. During the 2020 election, after we did the presidential election, I came bounding up the stairs, all happy, that I did my civic duty, and my leg went right through this and plunged down all the way to my pelvis with one leg up and one leg down in our porch. So I need to paint that, but it's a nice reminder. Don't vote. These are the books I'm donating to the Little Free Library.
Hello, it is day 3 of the Read What You Own challenge, and so far I have not read anything that I own. It's, I'm bad at this, I guess, but I'm just finishing up library books that I had out prior to starting the challenge. I just finished this. It is a coffee table book, but it's Archie, A Celebration of America's Favorite Teenagers. I always liked the Archie Comics growing up. Got the digests and the double digests in the grocery store. Had a giant box of them, which sadly, like all of my comics, pretty much disintegrated. But this book was It's a nice romp down memory lane. You do get a lot of comics, but you also get like articles or interviews with some of the old artists of the comic. Many have passed away, so you just get articles on them. The articles are, they can get a little dull, but it's interspersed with like never before seen drawings of various characters. You get a lot of look at like some of the stuff and products that they put out, which is really cool. I never knew that there was a 1940s radio drama for Archie, and so I listened to a little bit of that, which was kind of weird, but it's also kind of cool. One of the things you will get to see is, this is kind of perfect for those of you who are participating in Dr. November, which is an event this month dedicated to spy fiction. Here's a never-before-seen published story about Archie Andrews' cousin, I think it is. It's Andy Andrews. And he goes behind enemy lines in the Soviet Union, and like there's just this whole spy story. So, I mean, if you're really interested, you can check out this book. I don't really feel the need to acquire this, but it was interesting read, and now I'm going to move on to something else, and hopefully I can start reading my own books for this challenge. Alright, have a good night, guys.
This house goes all out on Halloween. But they never remove their decorations. Come on, it's well into November, people.
It is the end of day 4 of Read What You Own, and today I just finished the audiobook of Apocalypse of the Dead by Joe McKinney. This book was fine. This was another one that was rented from the library, so far I've read this many books that I own, but I'm just finishing up this stuff before I start pulling from my own shelves. But this book was basically zombie apocalypse. It's the sequel to Dead City, I believe is the name of the book. If I'm wrong, I will put something here. But also by Joe McKinney, and I enjoyed that book. I enjoyed this one a little bit more, but it was a little off. Essentially, it's Jim Jones in the zombie apocalypse. So you have like a religious cult in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, and of course they're the group everyone flocks to until things take a turn. It was fun, but some of the plot elements just don't make sense. If you've survived for months in a zombie apocalypse, I think the likelihood that you will, drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak, is just really low. I mean, I understand morale can get low, but when you're fighting for survival, you're less likely to, So, anyway, it was still a fun book, but not, great. So, this is gonna sound really silly, but I was reorganizing my shelves. You see some lovely yellow spines right there. But I was reorganizing all of my books, and this is probably the stupidest statement anyone's going to make about Read What You Own, but I found so many books that I want to read in my own collection that I haven't, and I like physically got excited about it. Like, it's duh, but I'm actually excited to start diving into these. There's a lot in there that, like, I felt like I was going to the store and shopping all over again. So I think there's like a concept people have been flinging around called shopping your shelves, and it's true. It's really good. It's just as exciting as going to a bookstore and finding things that you want to buy. Now it's just a bunch of stuff I have on hand that I want to read. I think you get into this like hoarding mentality where you're just like, well, I want to read this someday, so I'll buy this, and then you never flip the switch in your brain to open the books and read them. At least that's how I work. But I'm gonna try by the end of this week to finish a book I actually own. I had put this down for a bit, but this is Deadline by Jennifer Blackstream. So it was originally going to be for Occult Detective October. That didn't happen. But now it's Occult Detective November, I guess. And then likely after that, I know I said I'm not going to participate in any events, but I just happen to have this big book on Cleopatra. It's the Memoirs of Cleopatra, which is some fiction based on, historical fiction based on Cleopatra. Roy from Roy Reads Anything is doing Cleovember, I think he's calling it. So, not that I'm participating in any particular event, but this book sort of jumped out to me. Then I feel like and the need to read it. So, is that participating? Well, let's see if I actually do it. So, that's it for tonight, but I'm going to do a little bit more reading, and then I'm just going to go to bed and probably wake up at 4 in the morning again. Bye. Hello. It is day 5 of the Read What You Own challenge, and I have still not read anything that I own completely. I guess I am doing the tantric version. Really want to draw this out. But I was basically spending most of my day rearranging all of my books. And then I hit a snag. You see, that one is empty, and that's because, those little pins that the shelves connect into? That is... I just heard a ping sound, and one of those either broke or, just got flung at 1,000,000 miles an hour in a random direction. So, I am currently missing one off of one of the biggest shelves I have, and therefore I'm stuck until I can get to a store with just, a dead space in my shelves. So everything's still kind of a mess. But this morning I read 2 comics, so I thought I'd share that with you. I read Conan the Barbarian number 4, which is the adaptation of the Tower of the Elephant, which is like one of the most beloved of the original Conan stories. The comic was pretty good, pretty decent, but you lose a little something in the abridgment that's required for a comic. There's a really tense scene in the original story where Conan's facing off against a spider, and it's a really tense battle back and forth between the two combatants, and that it was just like maybe 3 panels of like, it's dead, or actually no, it's that, but spoiler. If you understood that, then good job. But yeah, it was still a really good comic, all things considered. And then I read issue number 5, which was the story Zukala's Daughter. we're 5 issues in, and Conan's taken on like 3 major sorcerers. So there's this like tiger that's attacking a small town, and it's invulnerable to weapons. But Conan tries to stop it once it starts rampaging through because it's collecting taxes. It's this minion of a sorcerer, and he goes to fight it, loses horribly, but the tiger's like, "I will never hurt you," and then runs off and transforms into a woman. And so the townsfolk send Conan to, take care of this wizard and his daughter, and things happen. But the story itself was underwhelming, I would say. It's not horrid, but it's underwhelming when you're coming off of the Tower of the Elephant. But that's it. That's all I've read. This weekend, I'm hoping to read this in its entirety and get something done. But in going through all my books this week, especially today, there's a lot of stuff I'm still really excited to read. So I'm probably going to read a lot of science fiction because that's the majority of my collection, oddly enough. I didn't think that was the case. I thought it would be fantasy, but I have a lot of science fiction, and a lot of those are short. So that's really good for this challenge, but I will talk to you later, and hopefully I'll get something read. It's about 6 a.m. in the morning, and I'm off to the store to get supplies because I won't have a car all day. But on the way here, in the middle of town, just a giant buck jumped in front of me on my way to the store. And I missed it, but I'm awake. I finally finished one. Hello, it is day 7 of the Read What You Own challenge, and I finally read something that I own. That is Deadline by Jennifer Blackstream. This is an urban fantasy, occult detective-ish novel about a witch who is like the apprentice of Baba Yaga, who's starting off on her own to become a private investigator. I enjoyed it quite a bit. The magic in this is somewhat familiar to things we've seen before, but it does have its own unique twists to it. My only real concern is that some of the spells that are used in this book are almost directly pulled from Dungeons and Dragons, which is fine as long as Hasbro doesn't send the Pinkertons after Jennifer. But this was good. The mystery was good. I enjoyed it. And finally, I have started reading what I own. Now I have 99 more to go.